Some people don't avoid others because they're broken. They avoid noise because they can finally hear themselves in the quiet. In a world that equates connection with constant interaction, choosing to be alone is often misunderstood. It's labeled as loneliness, as social anxiety, as something that needs to be fixed. But psychology tells a very different story. For many people, being alone isn't emptiness. It's relief. Because when the world steps back, their nervous system finally exhales. People who like to be alone often have low stimulation thresholds. Their minds process deeply, not rapidly. Crowds, small talk, constant conversation, these don't energize them. They drain them. Solitude, on the other hand, gives their brain room to stretch. This isn't introversion in the shallow sense. It's internal richness. These individuals tend to have high internal dialogue. They think in layers. They reflect before reacting. They notice patterns others miss. When they're alone, they aren't bored. They're processing. Psychologists call this restorative solitude, a state where being alone doesn't deplete energy, it restores it. And that's why time alone feels productive to them, even when nothing visible is happening. Another reason people like being alone is emotional safety. Around others, there's performance, unspoken rules, expectation management, subtle emotional labor. Even kind interactions require energy. But alone, there is no audience, no need to explain reactions, no need to match moods, no need to filter thoughts before they exist. For people who are emotionally sensitive or perceptive, this safety is essential. Not because they can't handle people, but because they handle too much when they do. Being alone protects their emotional bandwidth. There's also a strong link between solitude and identity clarity. People who spend time alone regularly tend to know who they are without needing external confirmation. They don't rely on constant feedback to feel real. In psychology, this is called internal validation, a sense of self that isn't built from approval or reaction. That's why many people who like being alone aren't actually detached. They're grounded. They don't disappear to escape life. They disappear to stay connected to it, to their thoughts, their values, their inner compass. Solitude also allows emotions to surface fully. When you're alone, there's no pressure to be okay quickly. No social script telling you when to move on. No rush to package feelings into something palatable. People who like being alone often need this space to feel things completely. Grief, joy, confusion, relief. They don't skim emotions. They go deep. And depth requires silence. It's important to understand, liking solitude does not mean rejecting connection. Most people who value being alone also value fewer, deeper relationships. They don't want many connections. They want meaningful ones. They don't seek constant presence. They seek understanding. That's why they can seem distant to some and profoundly loyal to a few. Because connection, to them, isn't about frequency. It's about resonance. And perhaps the most misunderstood part of all. People who like being alone often aren't lonely. Loneliness is the absence of connection. Solitude is the presence of self. They are not the same thing. In fact, people who are comfortable alone often struggle the most in environments where they feel emotionally unseen. They don't crave company. They crave authenticity. And when that isn't available, they choose solitude, not as withdrawal, but as self-respect. In a culture that rewards visibility, noise, and constant engagement, choosing quiet becomes radical. But for these people, quiet is not silence. It's clarity. It's where they recalibrate, where they reconnect, where they return to themselves. So if you're someone who likes being alone, understand this. You're not antisocial. You're not broken. You're not missing out. You're simply wired to experience life from the inside out. And that's not a flaw. It's a depth many people never learn how to access.